Hello, good afternoon, my beautiful viewers. I wish you a happy Saturday. How is your Saturday going? Tell me that your Saturday is going well. Mine is going absolutely well. Today is 16th of April 2022, and this period is historical. There's been historical events associated with Christendom, associated with Judaism, associated with Islam. For Christians, Jesus Christ came to die for our sins, and on the third day he rose from the dead. And this is the period of time all these happened. And for Judaism, I know about the Passover when the firstborn were saved from death. And for Islam, this is the period of Ramadan. Okay, so it's this is a period of holiness. This is a period of meditation. I also want to use this opportunity to congratulate everybody, and also to wish everyone well, and at the same time to preach peace and love. For all, let's bear in mind that we're all created by one loving God, regardless of our beliefs, regardless of our tribe, our religion, our race, and what have you. The devil uses all these to cause confusion amongst us. That's not about the truth. So let's preach. Let's be there for one another. Let's promote love and heal the world. Okay. So today's discourse is domestic violence, and there's a trending situation that a sad situation that happened to a phenomenal gospel female artist by name Osinachi. It's so sad that she her life was cut short, allegedly caused by her husband as a result of domestic violence. So I'm here to air my own opinion about it. As a matter of fact, I'm here to prefer the best solution to put an end to domestic violence. I've heard people's opinions about domestic violence. I've heard all sorts of stories, but I am here to provide a lasting solution to domestic violence. Domestic violence is preposterous. Domestic violence is shocking and unacceptable in marriages. Domestic violence leads to injury. Domestic violence leads to depression, and sometimes leads to death. Just like we all know has happened. I shed tears when I look at some videos of domestic violence between between partners. I feel very bad about it. But the truth is, domestic violence can be put to an end. Before you get into marriage, this is my candid advice. Before you venture into the institution called marriage, it's very important that you get into a relationship with your partner. Because in the course of being in a relationship with your partner, you get to understand a lot about your partner's disposition. Yes, you understand about your partner's behavior. You understand how he reacts when provoked. Okay, so when you get into a relationship that lasts for 1, 2, 3 years, a lot would have been revealed about your partner. Then you can take your decisions. Of course, nobody wants to be in an abusive relationship. Nobody wants to be in an abusive marriage because everyone suffers. It's not only the female folks that suffer abusive relationships or abusive marriages. The male folks also suffer domestic violence because we've heard stories about female hitting the male as well, and this has caused proliferation of divorce, proliferation of separation. So to put an end to domestic violence, I advise that there should be a relationship before you get into marriage. You get to understand your husband or your wife's disposition, her character, how she reacts when provoked. Then you can take your decisions. That's nothing but the truth. That way you get to understand how her point of view, how she reacts if she's the violent one type. Of course, nobody wants to be with a violent partner. So when you find out that, oh, this is this person's disposition, then you take your decisions whether to get into marry the person or not. Okay, because I mean nobody wants to end up in the mortuary because of marriage, because of the sake of wanting to be married, and you end up in the mortuary. Okay, so and then if it's something that you can correct, if you can change the person's uh, disposition, I mean good for you. And also, if you are in an abusive marriage and you've been abused the first time and you're still in the marriage, of course you can always give benefit of doubt, like, okay, you've been abused before, like you've been attacked, you've been assaulted, and your partner comes and apologizes to you. Of course you can, forgive. But if the person does it a second time, you can always, it's good for you to always give a benefit of doubt. The first time, if the person assaults you, you can try to see how you can correct that and give a benefit of doubt. But if it happens a second time, you can go ahead and also, I mean, try to forgive and see how you can correct that. But if it happens a third time, you need to, put on your shoes and leave. Otherwise, you may end up in a mortuary. And marriage is not about you and your spouse alone. It has to do with two families coming together. Okay, so we need to think about all this and ensure that we don't suffer in abusive marriages, because this life is worth living. Nobody wants to die. And if you're not comfortable in your marriage, it's high time you separate. Yes, rather than remain in a marriage and end up in a mortuary. Okay, so I would always say it's good for, especially the people that are planning to get married. Don't just get married. Get into a relationship so you get to know your spouse and see if you can cope with his or her dispositions. Okay, violence is a write-off. Violence is a write-off, because especially if a partner can control the anger, it's a lot of people have lost their life through that way. The person picks up a bottle and stabs the. I mean, we heard stories, and and I need to break it down that the two major causes of domestic violence in marriages are infidelity and disrespect. Infidelity in the sense that one of the partners starts to cheat and the other one becomes angry, and most times if the wife is the one cheating, the man is always jealous and full of rage and decides to attack. And then if the man happens to be the one cheating, most times the woman would want to get at the man and wants to do the same. And once the man finds out, he's raged and he wants to attack. Okay, so infidelity is a major cause of domestic violence in relationships. And also disrespect. And disrespect is associated with, maybe if the husband is not adequately fending for the family. Everybody knows women, they're always nagging, and the woman starts to nag, and as a result starts disrespecting the man. And the man, unable to tolerate such disrespect, he starts to attack his wife. And or the situation where the wife happens to be the breadwinner of the house, and women, once they're the breadwinner of the house, you can't, some, I mean, you don't expect to get the optimum respect from them. And unfortunately, to some women, if they happen to be the breadwinner of the house, they tend to look at they ridicule their husbands, and most husbands wouldn't want to tolerate that, and they start attacking the wives. So what I'm trying to say in essence, that rather than attack, you can decide to separate. That's why the man, I mean, you are the man. You're supposed to be the head of the family. You're supposed to be the king of the family. You should. Once you discover some certain thing that you cannot tolerate, you can decide to say, "Woman, I need you out of my house," because I mean, you're the man of the house. And if the woman happens to be the breadwinner of the house, I mean, she also has the guts to say, "Man, I don't need you any longer. I need you out of my house." Okay, it's best you separate rather than engage in physical fight, and then one of the party gets hospitalized or is inflicted with injury. So this is just my candid advice to marriages. This is my candid advice to those preparing to get married. Get into relationships, provoke provoke your spouse and see how he or she reacts. If she's the type that picks bottle or goes to pick a knife, my brother or my sister, think about it. And I mean, opt out of such relationships, because you might end up in a mortuary, man. Nobody wants to die because of marriage. No, no. And then for those that are always angered and cannot control their anger, you need to find a way to work on just anger. There are ways you can resolve disputes rather than attacking, rather than picking up instruments to attack. No, remember, if you commit a murder, if you murder your partner, you're gonna end up in a penitentiary. You're gonna end up in the jail. I mean, just like what happened to Osinachi. I heard that the hobby is locked up right now. So we rather than find yourself in such a situation, you separate. And if the marriage cannot continue any longer, then you divorce. I mean, you part ways and go your separate ways. So this is what I have to tell you, my beautiful viewers. Thank you so much for finding time to listen to my word of my opinion, because this is basically my opinion and my own solutions to putting an end to domestic violence. Have a great Saturday. May God bless you abundantly. Bye.